All right, let's talk about scheduling. You have gone and done a review of the project first. And this, you might think that maybe this is a little preemptive. Maybe you haven't even been to the site visit. But here's why we want to do this. We want to start bringing, you've seen the scope of the work and you've really been able to dive in. You've looked at photos. You can see exactly what we're doing on that project. And you might have gotten that project a couple weeks before the handoff. You want to be preemptive about it. You want to start thinking about that project, and part of that is building the schedule. You can, and so you can really see when the start and end date of this project is and get an idea of where you are in the bigger scope of your other projects, along with, when will you need your next project. So you're going to want to really start planning this, and it's much better to do it before than and get it all ready. So once you meet with the homeowner, you might even be able to give them a ballpark idea. And you say, listen, I've got to just finalize it once I put all of my bids and purchase orders. And we're going to get into that afterwards, after this. But once I've put all those in and I've talked to all my subcontractors, I'm going to adjust my schedule. But we do know that a roof can take 1 to 3 days. And, we can plan most of this stuff. We know cabinets, take 2 weeks depending on what supplier we're going from. We know, countertops are 10 days, and electrical roughs in a small kitchen might be a couple days. So we've actually built some scheduling templates so that it's really going to help. And what we do want is we're going to baseline them so that we can look at it and we can get feedback to adjust the templates based off of historical, projects. So all of this is for data so that we can plan and the client can plan. But the scheduling is super. It's really easy to use once you get to know it. If you're familiar with Gantt scheduling, it's going to be a breeze. But CoConstruct does it pretty well in that aspect. But of course, it's only done well if the inputs are done. The outputs are only as good as the inputs. So as long as you're keeping up to date with it, it's going to be really accurate and really easy to run your project. So the better you are at the scheduling part, the more projects you're going to be able to run. So it's something really, it's really important to be able to do it and do it well. So dive into this. There's other videos on CoConstruct that can really show you the nuts and bolts of it, other more, behind the scenes than what I'm showing you now. But we're going to try to, we might even do a couple different videos and maybe on our extended training. So let's just dive into this. You're going to get a project. You're going to get toggled onto it. It's going to be on your dashboard. And, usually there's a photo here and all that stuff, but we're just going to dive right in on your left side here. Let me just, I wonder why this is, there we go. Your left side here, you've got there we go, perfect. You're going to come down to the schedule, top of project management. This is kind of your place to be, right? And click on the schedule. And there might be a leftover sales schedule in there that you might have to delete out. And CoConstruct in itself is actually it's been changing a lot of this. But the first thing you want to do is you want to add the template. So you need to go to the Gantt view to add or reorder task or delete. So let's go into here and we can see this now. This is kind of the workhorse, the field update. And I'll go, maybe let me go through it. So the field, let me build it first though. But the field update is just going to be stuff where you can check things off as you're going. The Gantt view is going to be where you put everything together and where you adjust stuff before you're off and running. And then the field update's kind of like as you're going, you're just like checking things off, saying, okay, all this stuff was complete, on to the next. So the Gantt view is you'll see, there's really not a view, but this is the actual Gantt section. But there's nothing in here other than the project closeout, and it always has to have something in it. So what we want to do is we want to copy here, copy from template. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to choose a template. And now what we're going to do is we're going to, especially if it has like the whole sales schedule in it, you're going to hit replace schedule, okay? So that it gets rid of that one line item there. And then we're going to drop down, and we're just going to do an all-purpose schedule. Now this can change down the road because they've been adding more features, but this is going to be the basic. We might have more than just an all-purpose schedule, and you pull in exactly what you want. But right now, it's an all-purpose schedule, meaning it has everything. So what it does is it allows you to delete out what you don't need, and then you don't forget about anything, right? So because you really have to, instead of forgetting to pull something in, you have to just delete out what you don't need. So this just brought in a lot of stuff, right? So this can be a little overwhelming. So you're going to want to take some time, really look at it. But you've got your scope. So say it's just a kitchen, and maybe we're going to do a kitchen and some, let's say roofing to make it easy, okay? You're going to delete out the stuff you don't want. So the first thing is get in here and get familiar with it. So you can easily just, expand all of it. And with this button here, which is pretty easy. And this is kind of like an Excel sheet, so you can kind of adjust so you can see what you're reading. And then project preparation. This project preparation is always going to be, in every project, because that's the review. So you're already going to have that roadmap if you forget anything, the review. And then you're going to delete out so this is telling you even how to do the schedule. Add and adjust payment schedule handoff with customer and salesperson. Sign out lockbox and sign. You want to get that sign and lockbox ready for the project. You want to sign out, hey, it's going to this project. And then, you have the handoff, which is we're going to get into as we go. Next couple of videos explain the handout and what the form 3.2 is and blah, blah, blah. So you're going to have all this stuff. It's going to kind of keep you to remember what to do. And then, you're going to want to, it's got, and some of this stuff you might want to adjust. Sometimes it's going to change, but this is going to give you your roadmap. And, something for you so you don't forget. So that project preparation is the handoff, the bids and purchase orders, the production review, any change orders, permits and special orders. This is all going to be the same on every project. So I'm just going to, and what, if you would like, you want to get crazy with this stuff is that powerful. It's super exciting. You can go in and put, you as the assignee. So you see what I did here? And then you would drop down and you would put who you are. And there'd be the list. Obviously, these you're going to end up actually tagging the subcontractors too. But if it's, you as the project manager, see, we got our project managers here, you would tag yourself. Why you would do that is then you would be able to pull reports and see what you need to do per project for that day. So that's what the assignee is. You have the predecessor column here. And the predecessor means you have to do number 2 to be able to do number 3. And likewise. So all of these are kind of grouped the same. So you have to review the specs and review the salesperson specs and selections and all that before you start deleting out the non-applicable portions, right? So it keeps everything in succession, and that's what you see over here on the let me pull this on the Gantt view, right? You can see all of these predecessors, right? And if you adjust any of these, the ones below it will adjust too, with down here, so you can see all the arrows. So that's how easy it is to adjust the schedule. This is a better example, right? So you can see it will adjust all the way down once you move some of this stuff. So you're going to go through line by line, and you know, obviously you haven't learned bids and purchase orders yet, but that's what you're going to learn. You're going to leave all that stuff out, and then the project start. So now you're going to see, okay, the demolition. If I'm going to have my site visit, you know, on April 8th, and you know, I'm going to have all this stuff done here. You know, I'm going to, let's project that I'm going to start removing the kitchen or / bathroom on this date, and then you would just click on here and put in the date that you think you're going to start. And at that point, it will start to populate. Now, if you say you don't have roofing, you're going to just delete it out, and you can just hit here and you can delete out what you don't have, you just hit the delete button, and it clears it out. So you're going to delete out what you don't want, and then you're going to play with, you know, maybe you already know who you're going to have, right? Your assignee. So maybe you know that the siding, the installation of the siding. Now, color and choice and style and choice, that you have to have that the client. So you could even attach the client to it. But for the installation, maybe you do know who you're going to have. So you're going to scroll down to siding and put in, you know, I think AB siding does a lot, right? Or Berkeley exteriors. You're going to put Andre or Berkeley, right? So you'll click them, and then they'll be your cider, and they'll be notified, and you know you can get notification. They can get notifications if you adjust your schedule and you toggle it on. They'll be notified if the siding's not ready. Maybe the customer didn't make a choice in time, and you figure it out, like the stuff's going to be delivered 2 weeks late or something, especially now we are within COVID. So you're going to want to put all of your subcontractors in who's doing what. And you're also going to want to put in your inspections and your progress reports in there too. So that's really important. So you don't forget, I got to do it once a week, and you can toggle the client so they know. And then when you have it all in there, you can look at your task list and see just exactly what you need to do that day and who needs to do what. So you've deleted everything out you want. You're doing that kitchen, and say, you know, you think you want to just move stuff around. You want to adjust it, and the drywall is you know, but most of this stuff's already in order, so you're not going to move some of this stuff. You know, like for instance, all of this, demo the kitchen, electrical, plumbing, rough, building inspections, drywall, you know, you got to have it drywalled before you paint it. You got to, you know, and typically you don't want flooring in, you know, until the paint's done. So most of this stuff you're not going to move around, but in some of this stuff, in bathrooms and kitchens are pretty thing, but sometimes you might have to move stuff around, or you've added it. It's that simple. It's very simple just to move it. You know, you can move it up so that it changes, you know, up to the one or down or whatever. And if you ever want to add, you just hit add, and you're going to say new task, and you're going to put in whatever that task is. You're going to attach how many days and who it's going to be. You can see, so the production manager already has this stuff pre-filled in, because he's got to do his reports and his internal reviews at the end. So we already know he's going to be doing that regardless who's running the project. So new task is pretty simple. Another way to look into that, you can actually look in. You can see some of this stuff here. There's some notes in there, notes and files. So, you know, let's go up to here. The fill out form 3.2 for the handoff, right? Well, if you click in here, you know, it explains what you need to do. But what's even cool, what's even better, and it's not on this one, you can see if there's files here. And what we'll have is, for instance, this one here. You can click on this one, and you can see, you click on this, there's the actual handoff sheet that you can just quickly print. So if you forget, oh, where did I put it? Well, it's in the schedule. So that's pretty cool stuff. So I know this is a brief overview. You're going to really want to get involved in this, but it's pretty basic stuff. This is like, you're going to get used to this, and once you've actually gotten rid of a lot of the stuff that you're not using, this will all start to make sense, and you can adjust your time. So each one of these bars is the length of time. So you can look at apply for a building permit, right? Starts on the 9th, it ends on the 21st. We know sometimes it takes 2 weeks to get building permits. Well, if you're waiting on the whole project to get that, you would make the whole project a predecessor of that one building permit. You got to get that approved before you start any work. So if you make that as a predecessor and it starts to run long, all you're going to do is take your mouse here and you're just going to drag that out until you get it, until you get the permit. And then it will populate all the rest of the project to start. And it will notify everybody like, hey, I got the building permit, and it didn't come in for a long week. So even though that plumber might be 2 or 3 weeks out, it's going to push them out that third week, and it's going to notify them. You're never going to have to call them and never tell them anything. It's just going to show up as an email. So of course you have to make sure that you've put in them as an assignee, or they won't. So and then there's notifications. So we'll really we'll really get into this, and I'm going to have some co-construct videos too that kind of explain this. We're going to embed that too, but I just want a bit of an overview how this works. This is really powerful. This is probably one of the more complex part of co-construct that you need to really learn. But once you do, you are going to what you end up doing is, when you're able to run this well, okay, you're going to open up having the ability to take on another project, because you're going to have everything so organized. You know exactly when to do what's going on today and everything else. And this is a really good way of not worrying about not forgetting order of operations. So a lot of this stuff is in a good thing. So this is all very fluid. You can really, play with it. You can print this stuff out if you want files, and a file of it. So you can, you have paper copy. You can make notes on it if that's kind of your first, Some people go first to the pad. If you're a little bit older like myself, we didn't grow up with computers, so but this is going to be something you really want to learn and understand fully. And what better way to get it all set up before you even do the project handoff? And then what's going to happen is, like when, if you're doing, say, the roofing, okay, once that part is already built in, you're going to then, when you meet with the subcontractor, you might have to adjust their time. Say, hey, I can't get there till May 1st. So then you're just going to adjust the whole roofing out. And so you're going to adjust that. But if it's already in there, you can already have an idea of where you're, where it's going to be. It's already all set, and then all you're just doing is just grabbing it and adjusting it and saying, hey, my roofing installation is going to be out here. I'm still going to get the color choice at the same time. I'm still going to get, even maybe the permit or whatever. We have the builder get his own, the roofer get his own permits, but that kind of thing is you're going to want to have all of it set. And then you're just going to be adjusting it. If it's that weekly progress report, you might need to adjust it out. At the end of the week, you adjust it once a week. Or if you want to be an achiever and make it awesome, then you jump in there once a day and adjust if anything's changed, and that's it. So something to really dive into. We're going to have a bit more education and maybe additional as this, because it gets getting stronger too. So, they're adding new features. So as that comes out, we'll try to kind of synthesize it and then get it out to you guys. So jump in this one.